you. Thank you. Dear friends, I have been closely following the situation of Iran for the past few years. I am very much concerned about the human rights violations and the repression of women in particular. I have always believed that the people of Iran, with such a rich history, deserve not to be ruled by a group of backward medieval mullahs. I am particularly troubled by the way the security forces are treating women to impose compulsory hijab. And therefore, the resistance against this regime by the PMOI and by Maryam Rajavi for a free, secular Iran has had my sympathy and support. I was therefore pleased to witness the uprising of the Iranian people in January and the escalation of protests and strikes which are happening in Iran every day. Sadly, the regime has responded by more repression, more arrests and more torture. The annual gathering in Paris, which this year will be on Saturday the 30th of June, is an opportunity to express our solidarity with the people of Iran. And this year is special because of these continuing, ongoing uprisings in the country. I wish my Iranian friends and the organisers to have an excellent and successful gathering.
Dear friends, I would like to extend my full support and solidarity with all of those who are fighting for a free and democratic Iran. We in the European Parliament have for many years been closely following your struggle against the religious dictatorship that has been ruling your country for nearly 4 decades. This year, the situation is very different in Iran. Since late December, we have witnessed mass protests and uprisings all over Iran. It was initiated by the young people, and now we see people of all ages and every sector of the society taking part in these protests. The Iranian top leaders have openly pointed to the significant influence of the PMOI and the movement that is led by Mrs. Maryam Rajavi in these uprisings. I think it is our duty here as elected politicians to openly support the democratic opposition against the tyrants. I therefore would like to express my strong support for your huge gathering that will be held on June 30th in Paris, and I'm sure the meeting will be a great success. The best of all to all of you.
My dear Iranian friends, let me salute you all from the House of the European Democracy here in Strasbourg. I have a great admiration for your struggle for freedom. In the European Parliament, there is a great sympathy for the Iranian opposition under the leadership of Mrs. Maryam Rajavi. We know that you have been suffering and waiting for many years. Now, after 40 years, it's time for the Mullah regime to go. We have seen your protests and uprising. We support you. I want to express my full solidarity and support for the Free Iran Gathering that will be held on 3rd June in Paris. I am sure it will be a great success.
Dear Iranian friends, it's an honor for me to address you this message as we are getting close to the great annual gathering of the Iranian Democratic Opposition, which will be held on Saturday, 30th of June in Paris. This year, this rally is held under total different circumstances. For the first time in 39 years, we have witnessed a nationwide protest that is calling for the downfall of the present regime in Iran. We have seen people from all different sectors of the society in continuous protests, from farmers, workers, students, teachers, and even truck drivers who launched an impressive nationwide strike that has really frightened the regime. The top leaders of the regime, including Khamenei and Rouhani, have all explicitly confessed and complained about the role of the PMOI and the Iranian opposition under the leadership of Mrs. Mariam Rajavi in these uprisings. We in the European Parliament, who have been following your struggle for all these years, we can clearly tell you from here that the Iranian regime is on its last legs. The change is finally coming to Iran, but the mullahs are desperately doing everything to prevent that. We therefore need to increase all activities, and I urge everyone to join the rally this year in Paris for supporting the democratic change in Iran. All the best.